Whether you're a truck enthusiast, a history buff, or simply someone who loves all things vintage, this video is sure to delight. We'll have a look back at some of the most iconic and influential trucks to have graced British tarmac, showcasing their historical significance and charm. But more importantly, we help answer the question, where are they now? In the 20th century, British trucks weren't just vehicles, they were national heroes on wheels. They hauled everything from building materials to food supplies, moving the country forward, quite literally. Unlike today's streamlined and ultra-smooth models, these trucks were all about practicality, durability, and no-nonsense designs that could take a battering and keep on trucking. We start our journey with the Ford Thames, a vehicle that was practically synonymous with rugged in the 1950s and 60s. Known for its sturdy design, the Thames was the ultimate multitasker. Farmers, builders, and traders loved it for its reliability in the rough British countryside. It didn't win any speed records, but it could handle muddy tracks, bumpy roads, and heavy loads like a champ. When the Thames rolled by, you could almost hear it say, "I've got this." You know that feeling when you're watching an old black and white movie and you see those classic cars on screen? Well, the Thames was just like that. No frills, all backbone. Before we move forward, if you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, then please give us a like and subscribe. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, the Morris Commercial. A more petite player, but a real powerhouse for small business owners. It was the truck that put the small in small business. The Morris Commercial might not have been the flashiest vehicle on the road, but it got the job done, rain or shine. Owners swore by it. If you had a fruit cart, a furniture shop, a fleet of ladders to haul, the Morris was your go-to ride. Just imagine loading it up at dawn and hitting the road, the cab stuffed with the day's orders and a flask of tea in the passenger seat. The romance of hard graft. Then came the Bedford TK in the 1960s and 70s. The Bedford was, well, a beast. Picture this. This wasn't just a truck. It was the heavyweight champion of British roads. It had that unmistakable square cab and towering stature. And if you were a kid in the 70s, you probably looked up at it like it was a giant. For long-haul drivers, the Bedford TK was a reliable partner. A cab they knew better than their own front room. Truckers would pack up for days on the road with nothing but the sound of the engine and maybe a stray radio signal for company. To see a Bedford TK today is to see a legend. A truck that could carry almost anything, and did. And now, the one that has stolen the hearts of enthusiasts everywhere, the Leyland DAF 85. This magnificent piece of British engineering isn't just a truck. It's a masterclass in design, endurance, and style. Imagine cruising down the motorway with a powerful engine that doesn't break a sweat, a cab so comfortable it's almost luxurious, and the confidence of knowing that you're driving a genuine classic. The Leyland DAF 85 wasn't just for getting from A to B, it was built for serious business. Hauliers loved it because it was dependable, and collectors adore it now because it has that timeless appeal. This truck is more than just a relic. It's a piece of heritage, preserved and polished for the future. But here's the bittersweet truth. These trucks are vanishing. Fewer and fewer of these vehicles are on the roads today. Modern transport has evolved with cleaner, faster, and yes, more efficient models that don't have the charm of those clunky mechanical masterpieces. As we move towards cleaner, greener, and more efficient transportation, these old trucks are slowly being phased out. It's a real tragedy to think that so many vintage trucks end up scrapped, left to rust in some forgotten corner, or worse still, crushed to pieces. The few remaining vintage trucks are mostly confined to museums or private collections, far from the public eye. But all hope isn't lost. There's a growing community of enthusiasts and collectors determined to keep these iconic trucks alive. They're like truck doctors, meticulously restoring every inch from the paintwork to the engine components, giving these old warriors a second chance at life. Some of these enthusiasts even spend years sourcing the original parts or refurbishing them with an authenticity you wouldn't believe. And who are they restoring them for? Well, partly for themselves, but mostly for all of us. For anyone who sees these trucks and feels that pang of nostalgia. These guardians of British automotive heritage deserve a big cheer, don't you think? Surprisingly, a lot of younger folks are getting into the vintage truck scene. They might have grown up with their heads in smartphones, but when it comes to classic trucks, they're out there with grease-stained hands and toolboxes. There's something incredibly cool about seeing a 20-year-old lovingly restore a truck that was built before their parents were born. Maybe it's the sense of history, the craftsmanship, or the love of all things analog in a digital world. Whatever the reason, this new generation is breathing life back into these iconic trucks. It's like they're saying, we're here to keep the legacy going. As we near the end of our nostalgic journey, let's remember the legacy of these vintage British trucks. They may be hard to find on the roads today, but in private collections, museums, and if we're lucky, at the occasional classic truck rally, they're still there, polished, and ready for admirers. The story of British trucks is the story of resilience, hard work, and innovation. It's the story of countless journeys across the UK, of miles and miles of goods delivered, jobs done, and lives touched. These trucks aren't just relics of a bygone era, they're memories on wheels, each with its own story and a bit of British character built in. So the next time you see a beautifully restored Bedford TK or a gleaming Leyland DAF 85, give it a nod of respect. It's not just a truck, it's a legend on wheels, a piece of history rolling by, reminding us of a time when life was simpler, roads were rougher, and every truck had a heart as big as the loads it carried. Thanks for watching Rewind with Richie. If you enjoyed this nostalgic trip down memory lane, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell us, what's your favourite vintage British truck?